our nature. Man must explore. And this is exploration at its greatest.
To each one of you. Actually, it would be nice if I could see who is in the call, but I can't. So in this 30 minutes presentation, let me put my watch down here. I will tell you what network detection and response is and how Extrahop actually works in this kind of area. So we are a US-based company, global company with presence all over the world. And we have employed some of the largest companies in the world with our traffic analytics solution to help getting visibility and to be able to troubleshoot problems in the network, in the application environment, and in the security area. So we live in a world of post-compromise. You know, companies have installed multi-millions of firewalls and IDS systems, but there are still breaches. So you need some kind of technology to detect that you have been breached. That's what we call the post-compromise world. And when we speak with customers and ask what they really need, they tell us, well, we need visibility. We don't have any visibility inside our infrastructure. We don't even know who is moving inside our network, who is sending data out of the network. And that is mainly due also to the fact that a lot of traffic is encrypted and we do not know what is happening inside the encrypted traffic. So that results in a detection time of about 200 days on the average in Europe. In Europe, it takes a company about 200 days average to find out that an attacker is moving freely inside the system. Totally unacceptable, and something has to be done about it. And even 72% of our customers tells us that the attackers are deleting log files. So this is pretty tragic. If you have a SIEM and you believe that your SIEM will give you full coverage and visibility, well, you're pretty wrong, because it's extremely easy to cover tracks, delete log files, manipulate log files, so you're not able to see them anymore. That's why Gartner came out with this concept of what they call the Sock Triad. They say to have really 100% coverage of your security infrastructure, you need 3 different elements. You need a SIEM, you need an endpoint detection system, agent-based system on your endpoints or even on your server. But what Gartner says that even the most important thing, and this is the latest in this technology, this is the newest and latest, it's called network detection and response. Network detection and response discovers what is happening on your network. Yeah, it gives you complete visibility on your network. And that is so important because all the bad guys, they are moving on the networks. They come in through the network. They are on your network. And when you analyze network traffic, this traffic cannot be manipulated. What you see in the network is real. It's 100% truth. And you can avoid SIEM systems, you can avoid endpoints, especially in the IoT world, but you cannot avoid the network. That's why it makes a lot of sense to analyze network. And Gartner says in the next years, companies will spend more budget in the area of detection and response than in the area of protection and prevention. So keep in mind, this is where the big money is in the next few years. It's in the post-compromise detection. And when you think that an IDS or a SIEM or an endpoint detection can give you the same thing as an NDR, well, it cannot. What you discover on the network when you go down to details and you analyze the packets, what you see, and when you analyze that with a machine learning system, well, this is the best thing you can find ever. Yeah, there is no other way than really analyzing data packets and using that intelligence inside a machine learning system to detect threats. So what Extrahop does on network detection in general, it analyzes what's happening in the east-west corridor. Now, we're not really sitting here on the perimeter, we're in the east-west corridor. And the technologies in the past have been log files and agent-based systems, but you cannot put an agent on every system. Just think of IoT and bring your own device and cloud services. If you want to put agents on all of these, well, you're lost. It's impossible. And not all of these systems produce log files. So the only way really is the network traffic. But here's the problem starts. A big part of the network traffic is encrypted. So you need a technology to look inside encrypted traffic, because if you don't do that, you will only see layer 4 metrics. So something like net flow, metrics, etc. And it's only a small part of the communication. Net flow layer 4 tells you who's talking to whom, how much traffic, which port, okay, but it doesn't tell you what's being talked about. And when you look into layer 7, that's what Extrahop does, we can tell you what is the content of the communication between the elements in the infrastructure. And Extrahop has a technology, patent-based, where we can even decrypt SSL and TLS 1.3 traffic in a passive way, out of band, without man in the middle. Yeah. So when we see any detections or security relevant events, we can automatically classify that into reconnaissance activity, privilege escalation, lateral movements, etc. Typical kill chain phases, which is the first step of what you do. And the second step, you integrate some frameworks like the MITRE ATT&CK framework, the NIST framework, or CIS controls, and make reference to what you find on the network traffic to these different frameworks. Because a lot of companies, extensively use the MITRE ATT&CK framework as a reference for their work. Extrahop has a lot of different detections in their system. There are detections based on rules, detections based on signatures, or threat intelligence feeds. But the most difficult part is actually what we call anomaly detection and behavioral detection. This requires a huge resources in CPU load to do this kind of task well. We do this in the cloud, and we use over 1 million different machine learning models to do that type of analysis. We have unlimited CPU available to do that, and it's extremely efficient, especially with the data we have by analyzing the network and having every layer 2 to layer 7 metric of any communication in the network. So the first thing we do, we automatically analyze all the devices on the network. Well, we distinguish between 2,000 different devices by using technologies like fingerprinting, DHCP fingerprinting, etc. We tell you exactly who is communicating and talking to whom, and even what is the content of the communication, going down to layer 7 and even to packet level detail of every communication between them. You can look what hardware is it, what operating system is running on it, what applications are associated, what protocols is this client or this machine talking as a server, as a client, etc. That's the basis of everything. You have to understand everything. So, and then based on this analysis, we see reconnaissance activities like port scans, web directory scans, DNS pings, etc. We see lateral movements, and we can drill from any one of these different detections and events down to the details, to the layer 7 events, and even further down to packet level details. Through our machine learning, we detect unusual behavior, activities based on baselining, or on different types of technologies. Some detections are really clear, you catch them immediately, others require baselining. And so unusual behavior, for example, is something that can have a lot of meanings. But if you have the context of different events in the network, you bring them together, you may found that an unusual activity may be dangerous or may not be dangerous. It may become dangerous in the context of other activities that are associated to this endpoint, to this device, or to this type of traffic. So a web directory scan by itself is not dangerous. But if it comes in a context of a web directory scan associated with an exploit right after you have scanned an endpoint, etc., and so that actually makes sense, and then you know you have a security incident. You can, with Extrahop, create your own dashboards for DNS, for DHCP, for Citrix, for whatever you want to do. It takes a minute to create a dashboard, and you can, for each dashboard, choose out of 6,000 different metadata that you can correlate and associate and build your own intelligence here on top of that. We talk and understand over 70 different protocols, which we analyze down to layer 7. So when you look at all these different protocols, all these different SQL flavors are different. So we understand them. We are fully protocol fluent. You cannot fake a port. We analyze everything in detail, and we know if an HTTP protocol is HTTP because we don't look at the port. We really look at the details of the protocol, because what we do, and we're the only one in the industry who does this, we analyze the whole packet. Yeah, it's not net flow, it's not header inspection, it's full packet analysis. Full packet analysis means that you analyze also the payload. And that's very important, because in the payload, you will find certain types of attacks that you cannot detect in the header, yeah, that you cannot detect by using net flow. So when you look inside the payload, you can see an SQL injection, you can see vulnerabilities, payload-based vulnerabilities, cross-site scripting attacks, etc. We can see if a PowerShell command is being executed over the network, etc., because we see all of that in details. Yeah, it's like having a Wireshark 24/7 analyzing your whole network traffic, and the machine learning is like having 20 security analysts sitting in front of it and analyzing each and one of these communications. Yeah, so that allows you actually to monitor your whole east-west corridor. Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah, inside your network, who is talking to whom and what is all this communication. And to do that well, a good tip from our side: use tabs and use a network packet broker. Don't just rely on mirror ports. Mirror port is good to start with. It's good to start a POC or to get a basic understanding. But if you want to monitor professionally your data center, and try to tap it and try to use a network packet broker. Yeah, just a little tip. So the sources we can use to get traffic can be a span port, a mirror port. It can be tabs, packet brokers, but can also be a virtual tab. So when you monitor the virtual world, may it be a VM environment, private cloud, or public cloud, you need something like a virtual tab. So the big cloud providers, Amazon has this traffic mirror, Google has a vTab, Microsoft has a vTab, and there are virtual tabs from different vendors on the market that you can install. And just like a physical tab, they send the packets to Extrahop. So we receive the packets, we decrypt if necessary, we analyze layer 2 to layer 7, we automatically discover and classify your users, applications, devices, VMs, etc. Then we store these metadata in an internal database for easy search and comparison. We send a part of these metadata into a machine learning process. But a very important thing is actually the real-time connection through API with lots of different other services. So we're never alone in environments. So normally, sophisticated companies, they have a SIEM, they have a NAC system, they have firewalls, etc. So we can interface with all of them in real time. So you tell Extrahop which one of these metadata or detections you want to send to your Splunk or your QRadar or to your logarithm. You want to respond in real time. If you have a detection and you have a NAC system like Cisco ISE or ForceCloud, well, you just send an API call, boom, and it's locked out, it's in quarantine. You can do the same thing with a firewall. Everything that has a REST API can be used to automatically respond and to automate that response process. Or an endpoint system with CrowdStrike, or a ticketing system, or a source system like Phantom, or Palo Alto, Demisto, Cortex, etc. All of these can be integrated here easily with an API key. So Extrahop, we have appliances from 1 to 100 gig per appliance. Imagine 100 gig full packet analysis, including decryption. So from 1 to 10, it can be a virtual appliance. From 10 to 100, you need a hardware. So we get a copy of the traffic. We analyze the packets in real time. We normally throw the packets away, so you don't have to store them. We keep the wire data or the metadata, send them to machine learning, and we get anomalies in behavior. Inside the cloud, it is very similar. You don't have a data center, you have a VPC, virtual private channel. And if you want to use Extrahop, for example, in Amazon, it's very easy. You go to Marketplace, choose Extrahop, click on it, and in 10 minutes you have it loaded as a full SaaS service inside your AWS environment. Or if you have any other cloud-based environment, you can just upload the image. In that case, it's an Amazon machine image, which you upload into your virtual environment. And that gives you full packet analysis of all your different logic tiers inside the cloud. Because what you have to understand, that the cloud is even a darker hole than most data centers, and you need visibility as well. Yeah, there are a lot of attacks based on attacking APIs, etc. And the tools that the cloud providers give you, like CloudWatch or CloudTrail, etc., they're very expensive. So don't believe they are for free. So we made a study the other day and found that Extrahop is a lot cheaper than most of the actually professional cloud tools based on log files actually inside the public cloud providers. So full packet analysis inside the cloud, and all you need is actually as a GUI, the management console, which you can use, by the way, for hybrid monitoring of on-prem data center and cloud data center monitoring. So once you analyze all of your infrastructure and all of your transactions, you get all these analysis results that are relevant for your security posture. You find attackers in the system, you find compromised systems, malicious traffic, etc. But at the same time, we analyze all the traffic with performance in mind. So everything from layer 2 to layer 4, the performance of your databases, your web server performance, transmission timeouts, MOS values of your voice calls, flow stalls, host stalls, SQL, dropped audit tables, etc. There's so many things that are important in your infrastructure, not only security, but also network performance and application performance. And Extrahop has a legacy of coming from the NPM and APM area, and we've included all of these functions into our VLEX product. So when you buy Extrahop, you get a full security analytics system and a full NPM, APM-based system. That allows companies actually to work closer together with a SOC and with a NOC. So many customers, these departments are very separated. So the SOC and the NOC very often don't work together, but we help those to work together. And some of them actually, they call this department a SNOC now. Why does it make sense? Because you only have one network. You share the same network, you share the same packets. So when you analyze these packets, you get all the information that might be relevant for you. And you can create your dashboards for the network people. They're mainly interested in layer 2 to layer 4 information. The server team, they want to see HTTP. The database want to see their SQL databases, how they perform. You can save database profilers and server agents, which you don't need anymore, because Extrahop gives you the full visibility into all the transactions. So for the Citrix people, for the security people, the SOC, the guys, the business analysts, they want to see how are my applications being used in the network. All of this information is on the net and Extrahop gets it for you. Yeah. So all the different departments inside your infrastructure can create big value out of Extrahop. We give you visibility and we eliminate blind spots. We can give you 100% coverage. Yeah, if you get the data at the right points and you analyze them, you have 100% visibility even inside encrypted traffic. We are able to detect threats that other tools simply miss. We can see things that a SIEM is impossible to see and an endpoint cannot see because some traffic may not even ever touch the endpoint. Yeah, so and that allows you to respond a lot faster. And we have made some requests at our customer, then they say that they are responding more than 70% faster since they have Extrahop in place. So beside of that visibility, real-time detection, we provide you with a full guided investigation workflow, which is very important. We don't leave you alone with just a detection. We tell you, hey, we have a detection, but we give you data, we give you the proof. Where is this detection coming from? We go down to the packet level detail in just a few mouse clicks from the detection to the validation to the packet level root cause and tell you we have a detection because in these packets we found exactly this type of event. So this is not anymore guessing. This is having real data as a foundation for your investigation work. Yeah. So our problems, the problems that we solve is breach detections, insider threat detection, ransomware, of course. We integrate into any SOC. We help red teams and audit teams to work, and we reduce the attack surface, which is very important because many companies are only being attacked because they have a weak configuration infrastructure, weak cipher suits, weak certificates, expired certificates, unpatched service, etc., SMB version 1, etc. Extrahop will give you immediate visibility about all these different attack surfaces and tell you how to improve your security surface. So when it comes to responding to attacks, we do that through API. We are a passive system, but through REST API and lots of different interfaces, we can use any professional tool to respond. So we have an API-based integration with CrowdStrike, with Phantom, Demisto, with SIEM systems, with ServiceNow. We can create a ticket, fully automatic. We can integrate with any firewalls, etc. And there are more and more companies and partners coming on board to join the Extrahop infrastructure of partners. From the deployment point of view, you can have an Extrahop typically in a data center. So typically one data center has a sensor. If you have multiple data centers, you need a sensor close to where your crown jewels are. Yeah. You have a central control plane. You have a record store where your record store data is. This can be in the cloud if you want to. And you can deploy additional sensors in larger branch offices or subsidiaries. You can deploy virtual sensors in public cloud, and you can have a hybrid visibility console here to monitor all of your infrastructure from one central console. Very important. So this is the extrahop.com webpage. If you're interested in checking out a demo, you just go to extrahop.com. There's a button on the upper right side where it says Start Demo. You click on that, and then you have a choice of different guided tours, which be the Hunter, Stop a Breach, etc. There's a couple of more experiences you can choose from. Or if you want to just enter into the system and browse, you just click Go Solo, enter the demo, and then it will go into not a simulation, but into a real Extrahop system based on Amazon, AWS, and with data from our laboratory. So there you can play around, go through all the dashboards, go and investigate certain attacks. You have detections by categories here, reconnaissance, exploits, lateral movements, command and controls, etc. You can go to detections by device roles, by types. You have this here, this criticality number here from 1 to 100, the higher, the more important it is to investigate. You have certain health indicators where we tell you, hey, you have so many 500 server errors, something's wrong, go and check it out. We have insecure TLS 1.0 protocol sessions. We have too many 4.4 errors, which may be an indicator of a web server scan attack, etc., suspicious TCP connections. And you can drill into all of that and have a real-time view and go into the details of everything. It's a very, very complete system. And I just copied a couple of screenshots for you so you can get an idea of how it looks like. So if you go to the detection page, you see all the most important detections like DC sync attacks. You click on it and then you go and get a little bit more information. You get the MITRE reference here. Click here and go on the MITRE page, attack background. And if you click here, you can further investigate this detection and drill into all the details. So here, for example, I clicked on a Drupal exploit, which is a detection where an offender here from St. Petersburg, as our threat intelligence feed found out, made a web directory scan to a Drupal server and then afterwards applied an exploit. And then actually this Drupal server, from being a poor victim, he converted to an offender and he started doing internal reverse lookup scans, TCP SYN scans, PowerShell execution activities, CIFS attacks, crypto mining, implementation, etc. So all of these attacks, all of these phases that together form, a logical attack, can be seen and can be investigated in all details. Just look at assets at SQL databases. You see the database servers, what protocol they're talking, as a client, as a server. Drill into each one and see all the different details. And CIFS details, what kind of CIF statements, top methods are being used, and find out if you have a brute force attack, which usernames have been used, which files have been touched, etc. What kind of errors do you have, etc. So this is Extrahop. It really brings you from the detection down to the layer 7 statements, which we have here in SMB, to read statement with a full payload, and you click on it and you go to the packets and all of that in 4 or 5 clicks. This is Extrahop Reveal X. And I heard you guys are searching for a secret number. I don't know where this number can be. So if you're searching for this number, search it on this page. If you found it, good luck with the lottery. And I think my time is pretty much over. Pretty sharp. Thanks for listening and joining. If you want to know more about it, send me questions. And thanks again. Bye-bye.